Imagine pulling into a beautiful campsite after a long day on the road. You park easily, step outside, stretch your legs, and look around. No giant motorhome taking up half the parking area. No stressful maneuvering. No complicated setup. Just a compact camper van that looks almost too small to contain everything you need, but then you open the door. And suddenly, the whole idea of a small camper van starts to feel very different. Because the Bürstner Brevio 600 may look compact from the outside, but inside, it is designed to make every inch count. There is a comfortable living area, a practical kitchen, a bathroom, smart storage, and a clever rear layout that can completely change how you use the available space. And that is what makes this camper van so interesting. It isn't trying to be the biggest RV on the road. Instead, it is trying to answer a much more important question. How much comfort can you actually fit into a small camper van? Today, we're taking a detailed look at the Bürstner Brevio 600, from the exterior design to the interior, sleeping area, kitchen, bathroom, storage, and the clever features that make this little camper van surprisingly versatile. Welcome back to California Autos. I'm Richard M. Tryon, and let's take a closer look. At first glance, the Bürstner Brevio 600 doesn't look intimidating, and honestly, that's one of its biggest advantages. Instead of having the enormous body of a full-size motorhome, the Brevio 600 keeps a compact camper van profile. That means it feels much more approachable. You can imagine driving it through city streets, stopping at smaller towns, finding a parking space, or heading down a narrow road without constantly worrying about the size of your vehicle. And for people who love traveling but don't love driving a huge RV, that can be a major advantage. The exterior has a clean and modern appearance. It doesn't need excessive styling to make a statement. Its design is more about practicality. The compact body gives you the freedom to travel without feeling like you're dragging a small apartment behind you. But here's where things get interesting. The real surprise isn't outside, it's inside. Open the side door and step inside, and the first thing you notice is how much more usable the space feels. This is where clever camper van design becomes important. When you have limited space, every decision matters. A few inches here can affect the kitchen. A piece of furniture in the wrong place can make the living area feel cramped. And a fixed bed can consume a huge amount of useful floor space. The Brevio 600 takes a different approach. The interior is designed around flexibility. Instead of giving every area only one purpose, different parts of the camper van can work together. The result is an interior that feels much more open than you might expect from such a compact vehicle. And that feeling is extremely important when you're traveling, because you aren't just sleeping here. You're cooking here, you're eating here, you're relaxing here, you're getting ready for the next day's adventure here. So the interior has to work throughout the entire day. Now, let's get to the feature that really caught my attention. The biggest surprise is the clever way the rear section can be used. Instead of permanently dedicating a huge amount of space to a fixed bedroom, the layout is designed to be flexible. During the day, the rear area can provide more usable space. Then, when it's time to sleep, the space can be transformed into a comfortable sleeping area. And this is exactly the kind of feature that sounds simple until you actually use it. Think about a typical camper van. A large fixed bed can be comfortable, but it also takes up space all day. You might have a huge mattress behind you while you're trying to prepare food, sit down, or move around. In the Brevio 600, the idea is different. The space can change depending on what you need. Living space during the day. Sleeping space at night. That's a very smart way to approach a compact camper van, and it makes the vehicle feel bigger without actually making the vehicle bigger. Let's move toward the main living space. This is where you can really imagine the lifestyle behind the Brevio 600. Picture yourself finishing a long drive. You park at your destination, open the door, and settle inside. Instead of feeling like you're sitting in a cramped van, you have a dedicated area where you can relax. You can sit down, enjoy a meal, plan the next day's route, or simply look outside and take a break. The design focuses on creating a warm and comfortable environment. And that is something Bürstner has always understood well. Luxury isn't always about making something enormous. Sometimes luxury is simply having a space that feels organized. Everything has a purpose. Everything is within reach. And you don't feel like you're fighting the furniture every time you move. Now let's talk about the kitchen. Obviously, you're not getting the giant kitchen found in a luxury Class A motorhome, but that's not what the Brevio 600 is trying to deliver. Instead, the kitchen is designed around the essentials. You have the ability to prepare meals, store cooking items, and handle the basics while you're traveling. And for a camper van this size, that's exactly what most people need. Think about how you actually travel. Maybe you're making coffee early in the morning. Maybe you're preparing breakfast before heading out for a hike. Maybe you're making a simple dinner after spending the entire day exploring. You don't necessarily need 10 burners and a massive countertop. You need something practical, something easy to use, something that doesn't steal too much space from the rest of the camper van. And that's where the compact kitchen makes sense. Next comes one of the hardest areas to design in a small camper van, the bathroom. This is where manufacturers have to make some serious compromises. A bathroom requires a surprising amount of space, but every square foot inside a compact camper van is valuable. So the challenge is creating a bathroom that is functional without allowing it to dominate the entire interior. The Brevio 600 approaches this with a compact design focused on practicality. You have the facilities you need while traveling, but the bathroom doesn't completely take over the living area, and when you're traveling for several days, having your own bathroom can make a huge difference. You don't have to depend entirely on campsite facilities. You have more freedom about where you stop, and when you're traveling through different locations, that convenience becomes something you really appreciate. Now, let's talk about where you actually spend the night. The sleeping area is one of the biggest reasons people choose a camper van in the first place. After driving for hours, walking around a new city, exploring nature, or spending the day outdoors, you want to come back to somewhere comfortable. The rear sleeping arrangement is designed around that idea. Instead of simply throwing a mattress into the back of a van, Bürstner has integrated the sleeping area into the overall layout. And because the rear space can be configured differently, it doesn't have to remain a bedroom 24 hours a day. That is a major advantage. During the day, you can have more usable space. At night, you have a dedicated place to sleep. It's a simple concept. But in a small vehicle, simple ideas can make a huge difference. Now here's something that doesn't sound exciting until you've spent a week inside a camper van. Storage. You can have a beautiful interior. You can have a comfortable bed, you can have a great kitchen, but if you don't have anywhere to put your clothes, shoes, food, bags, and travel equipment, the entire experience can become frustrating. The Brevio 600 is designed with storage in mind. The goal is to use spaces that might otherwise be wasted. And that's important because campervan owners quickly discover a basic rule. You can never have too much useful storage. Especially when two people are traveling together. One person brings clothes, the other person brings clothes, then there are shoes, then food, then electronics, then outdoor equipment. Suddenly, a vehicle that looked spacious when empty can feel very crowded. That's why smart storage isn't just a convenience. It's part of the overall design. Now let's step back and look at the bigger picture. Why would anyone choose a small camper van when there are much larger motorhomes available? The answer is freedom. A giant motorhome can give you incredible comfort, but it can also create limitations. Parking becomes harder, narrow roads become stressful, fuel consumption can increase, and sometimes you spend more time thinking about the vehicle than enjoying the destination. The Brevio 600 takes the opposite approach. It's compact, it's easier to handle. It's easier to imagine using for everyday trips, and when you arrive at your destination, you still have a proper little home on wheels. That combination is powerful. So, who is the Bürstner Brevio 600 really for? I think it makes the most sense for couples, solo travelers, and people who want to explore without driving a massive motorhome. If your dream is to carry a large family and live inside an RV for months at a time, you may want something much bigger. But if your idea of the perfect trip is freedom, flexibility, and the ability to move easily from one destination to another, this compact approach becomes very attractive. Imagine taking it on a weekend road trip. You leave Friday afternoon. You drive for a few hours. You find a beautiful place to stop. You make dinner. You sit inside while the weather changes outside. Then you transform the space into a bedroom and go to sleep. The next morning, you wake up, make coffee, open the door, and you're already where you wanted to be. No hotel checkout. No airport. No packing and unpacking every day. Your home simply travels with you. Of course, there are compromises, and it's important to be honest about that. This is still a compact camper van. You won't get the huge living room of a luxury Class A. You won't have endless floor space. And when several people are inside at the same time, you'll notice the difference between this and a much larger RV. But that's the trade-off. The smaller size gives you mobility. The larger motorhome gives you space. So the real question isn't whether one is better. It's which lifestyle you want. Do you want a motorhome that feels like a luxury apartment? Or do you want something that feels like a compact adventure base that can take you almost anywhere? For the second type of traveler, the Brevio 600 makes a very convincing argument. And that's what I think is most interesting about this camper van. The real luxury isn't necessarily something you can measure. It's the freedom to wake up somewhere new. It's being able to change your plans. It's finding a quiet road and deciding to follow it. It's stopping beside a lake because the view is too good to ignore. It's making coffee while the sun comes up. It's having your bed, kitchen, bathroom, and living space with you wherever you go. The Bürstner Brevio 600 isn't trying to give you everything. It's trying to give you the things that matter most. And sometimes that's exactly what makes a camper van special. So, after looking at the Bürstner Brevio 600, I think the biggest surprise is not how small it is. It's how much it manages to do with that small footprint. The exterior keeps things compact and easy to manage. The interior creates a surprisingly comfortable living environment. The kitchen gives you the essentials. The bathroom adds independence on the road. The storage helps keep your travel gear organized. And the flexible rear layout allows the same space to serve different purposes throughout the day. That is clever design. And more importantly, it's design that makes sense for real-world travel. But now I want to hear from you. Would you choose a compact camper van like the Bürstner Brevio 600? Or would you rather have a huge luxury motorhome with much more space? And if you had this camper van for 1 month, where would you take it? Europe? The mountains? The coast? Or would you simply take off with no destination at all? Tell me your answer in the comments. And if you enjoyed this tour, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to California Autos, and turn on notifications for more luxury motorhomes, camper vans, RV tours, and fascinating homes on wheels. I'm Richard M. Tryon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, keep exploring. Because sometimes, the smallest motorhomes can create the biggest adventures.